Every spring my mother plants a rosebush for each of her children. There are 4 bushes and 3 of us, and nobody in my family has ever asked about the 4th. I asked once, when I was 7. My mother set down her trowel, looked at me with dirt on her hands, and said, "We don't touch that one." Then she went back to watering it like I'd never spoken. So I stopped asking. We all did. But the 4th bush was different. She watered ours when she remembered. The 4th one she watered first, every morning, before coffee, before us. She trimmed it with her bare fingers. Sometimes I saw her lips moving near it, like she was talking to someone standing in the soil. Last month my father was in the hospital for his hip, and I was home alone with her, and I finally asked my sister and brother in our group chat, "Do either of you know who the 4th rosebush is for?" My brother wrote back, "Never ask her that." My sister wrote, "She told me it was for a garden she lost. Drop it." So I drove to the hospital and asked my father instead. His face went gray. "Ask your mother," he said, and turned to face the wall. I can't be the one. That night I couldn't sleep. At 2 in the morning I took a flashlight and a hand shovel into the backyard, and I dug under the 4th bush. 8 inches down my shovel hit something soft. A bundle wrapped in a rotted baby blanket. Inside it was a tiny knit hat, a hospital bracelet, and a folded certificate in a plastic sleeve. The bracelet said Baby Girl Prescott. The certificate was a birth record. The date was 2 years before I was born. You weren't supposed to find that. I spun around. My mother was standing on the patio in her nightgown, perfectly calm. "Who is this?" I held up the bracelet. "Who was she?" "Your sister," she said. "The first one. She died before you were born. Crib death. It broke me. That's why I planted the bush." "There's no death certificate in here," I said. "Only a birth one." She didn't blink. "It was a long time ago. You water this one first," I said. "Every single day. You talk to it. You don't talk to ours." My voice was shaking. "You don't grieve a dead baby for 30 years by watering a bush before your living kids get breakfast. What did you do?" Something in her face closed like a door. "Put the dirt back," she said. "Now. What did you do?" And then quietly, almost bored, she said the thing that made my whole body go cold. She wouldn't stop crying. For 4 months she never stopped crying. "Your father worked nights and I was alone with her and I hadn't slept. And one night she stopped. She looked at the bush. I made it stop. And then I put her here where I could keep her close. And I planted something over her so she'd have something pretty. I couldn't breathe. You buried her in the yard. Your father thinks she's in a cemetery 2 towns over," she said. "He paid for a plot. He's never once visited it because he can't stand it. He doesn't know it's empty." She smiled a little. "He never asks. None of you ever ask. That's what I love about this family. Nobody asks. That's why you told us never to touch it. That's why," she agreed. She took a step toward me. "And now you're going to fill that hole back in, and you're going to forget you dug it. Because you're my good one. You always were. You never ask questions you don't want answered." I stood up out of the hole. I was still holding my phone. "You're right," I said. "I don't usually ask." I turned the screen toward her so she could see it. The call had been connected for 11 minutes. The little red timer was still running. But I called the police before I picked up the shovel, because I already knew there wasn't a death certificate. I found the empty plot record in Dad's files last week. Her face didn't change for a second, then it changed all at once. "They've been on the line this whole time," I said. "They heard all of it." The flashlight caught something at the side of the house. Headlights swinging into the driveway. No siren, the way they come when they already know exactly what they'll find and exactly where to dig. My mother looked at the 4th rosebush one last time. "I always kept her close," she said.